What's up, y'all? It's Tony Ray, and I'm doing a 10-part series on how to get a bag in a rural area. I say 10 parts because, if I get a good, response from this, I'm gonna do more because, I got ideas for days, and that's why I named the series "How to Get a Bag in a Rural Area." A lot of cats don't know how to get a bag in a rural area. They just haven't figured it out yet. They think just because, it's a slow area, which means there's nothing to do, and that I can't make money. And you don't know that there's so many opportunities out there. I come from a city, a big city. Not New York, not Philadelphia, not, Atlanta, not California, none of those places. I come from Virginia, the 7 cities. Not the biggest city in the world, but definitely a lot of people condensed in an area. And basically everybody's doing the same thing. When you live in a big city, no matter what it is, everybody's doing the same exact thing. You get your ideas off other people. You see what they're doing, and then you say, okay, let me try that. I'm going to try to get some money doing that. But the problem is, by the time you get to it, everybody's already done it. I'll give you an example. At one particular time, everybody was buying dump trailers. And the biggest thing was, I said dump trailers. Because the big thing was, in an area where there's a lot of construction and things are booming, after the house is built, there's a whole lot of debris and all kind of stuff laying all over the yard. Cut up wood, siding, all the scraps and metal and pieces of material, bricks, everything that was used to construct this house usually gets thrown on the ground because the construction workers are too lazy to basically put it in the dumpster or the container. And that's if there's a dumpster even there. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at? So basically you come up with a hustle. I'm going to get a dump trailer and I'm going to go around to every construction site and I'm going to ask them for $300, $500, $800, whatever the case may be, to clean up all this stuff. And then I'm going to get paid. Well, by the time you save your little money up, get your dump trailer, everybody's out there doing it. Every time Dick and Harry's out there with a dump trailer on every construction site, or a container truck, or whatever the case may be. Dump trailer, dump truck, container, rental container, everything. So that's an example of living in an area where, a big city where everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's watching each other's ideas. You start landscaping, and then, next thing you know, you're one of the first ones. I was a landscaper for, in my own business, for 15 years, basically. Ever since I was like, I started when I was 16, 15 years old, before I even was able to work a regular job, or old enough to work a job, walking around neighborhoods with a lawnmower, getting some yards that way, buying school clothes. Then I started knocking on doors when I got older. Hey, do you need your yard cut? See a yard, plenty of weeds and stuff, and that were growing. It gave me a indication that maybe they need to get their yard done. Started doing contracts that way. So then that lasted for years. I milked that cow till it was dry. Next thing you know, the economy kind of tanked a little bit, and then you got school teachers who are usually off in the summer when kids are out of school, unless they volunteer to do tutors and stuff like that. So then now you had school teachers out there cutting grass, firemen who worked 4 days a week, 10-hour day shifts or 10-hour night shifts, whatever they're working around the clock. I forget. Now they're out there doing it on their days off, because usually they'll be off 3 straight days, then work 4 straight days is what I'm trying to say. So now that I've given you these examples, let's get back to the rural area, how to get a bag in a rural area. So I moved out into the country. I didn't go that far, crossed over into Carolina, and basically it was just a rural area. So I sat there looking around. I said, well, what's going on? A lot of people work at some kind of plant, the chicken plant, or Purdue, or whatever the case may be. And they worked at those shifts all night long, all day long, Campbell's soup, whatever the case may be. Meanwhile, I started noticing that, I started seeing log trucks flying up and down the road. And then I noticed that I was standing one time, I seen a machine that was just going through the woods and would just grab the tree, and then I hear a saw would cut the tree, and then it would throw the tree over and drop the tree, all in pretty much consistent. Within 5 seconds the tree was on the ground. Humongous tree. Then there's another part to it. After that machine grabs the tree, throws it on the ground, then another machine comes back and with a big old hook, and it grabs a whole bunch of trees all together, squeezes the trees together, and then drives it all the way back to another machine that's waiting, that has another claw on it. And that claw would come, go down, scoop the trees up, and then they'd put it on another machine, which is a trailer. That they would take the trees. That trailer was hooked up to a tractor trailer, which would take the trees to be recycled or sold. There's opportunity in that. You can find some used equipment somewhere that nobody's even using. Alright, this is my first series about how to make money in a rural area. It's going to be how to get a bag in a rural area, or something to that effect. And the first thing that I could think of was the logging business. There's a lot of businesses out here that there's a need and there's a want, and a lot of people don't take advantage of the logging business, but that's a very, very lucrative business, logging. So what you have here, the logging business, most people are afraid of it because they think that it's real expensive and it's going to cost you millions of dollars to get into, and that's not necessarily the case. When it comes to logging, you can get some older equipment like this. This is the equipment that basically you would go and once you get the trees cut and they're on the ground, this machine stacks it up, and basically this machine will basically load it onto the logging trailer, and then a truck will take it to a facility, and they will sell the logs to another company, and basically the driver would get paid, or the company owner would get paid, and in some cases the person who's having the trees cut down, they'll pay them for the lumber. So apparently at one given time, this area here was it was a logging company, and basically they either upgraded the equipment or they moved on to something else. So I just wanted to show y'all that this is half of the equipment you need right here. You need this piece of equipment that can basically load the logs onto the trailers for transportation, and that usually sits where all the trucks come in and the tractor trailers are, and they'll line up and they'll put them on the back of this trailer, and they'll take it to a facility. And this equipment here, you probably can go and talk to the guy and see, his business is right over here, I suppose, and you probably could go talk to the man and say, hey, how much for this equipment? If he's not using it, there's a old Mack tractor trailer right there. That's the whole setup. That's all you need. You need the truck, and you need the trailer, and you also need this piece of equipment here to load it. And the cutter is not on the premises right now. There's a cutter that grabs the tree, it hugs the tree, and then it cuts the tree and pushes it over. And then there's also another machine with humongous wheels on it, and that machine basically grabs it and tows it to this area here, which is the distribution area, and that is part of the logging business. This old, needs a motor, not being used anymore. Get a good deal on it. A lot of people walk away from this opportunity. They say, well, those machines to get all that equipment, that's $100,000 worth of equipment. That's $200,000 worth of equipment. But hey, it takes some money to make money. Now a lot of times some of these people don't really pay you for to clear the lot because they know that you can sell the trees, right? But that's only in cases where you're going to clear 40 acres, 30 acres. Hell, I've seen a man clear 4.5 acres and it didn't take him but 1 day to do it. Can you imagine that? Almost 5 acres in 1 day. He cleared it all out. It took a little longer to haul it all off, but that first piece of equipment that was cutting the trees down cut all the trees in a day. And it took the tractor trailer, all the other 3 pieces of equipment that I told you about. It took them, another week or so to get all the trees to the. Anytime you have a lot that's humongous, where it's, I don't know how many acres, but a lot of acres, usually the business will log for free and sell the trees. And if they have enough trees, that's enough to keep a whole crew running. If it's an acre or less, they might not be bothered with that, because by the time they bring the machine over, you might just be a person who just does that 4.5 acres. Because the bigger companies won't even do it because there's no money in it really, because there's not enough lumber. But those, you can charge the customer to clear their acre lot to put a house on. And you also can sell the trees as well. But because they don't expect you to clear it for free, because they know that the lumber for 1 acre might not pay what a yard would pay that does, that has a lot or a tract of land that has 20, 30, 40, 100 acres, 47 acres, 300 acres, stuff like that. So there's an opportunity there. There's not a lot of us doing it. But I want this channel and these how to get a bag to be for anybody. I don't care who you are, but especially African Americans. A lot of times we're slipping and we don't really see the opportunity in that's right in front of us. You know what I'm saying? So you can get a business together and buy some of this equipment and hell, in my prime I probably would have drove the truck to cut down the tree, drove the equipment to cut down the tree. Then I probably would have jumped in the other tree with the big grabber on it and pulled the trees to the trailer that was waiting, loaded it with the other piece of equipment with the big hook on it, and then drove the tractor trailer to the lumber yard and got paid. I probably would have done all 4 of those different things, to make some money. But now you can get your cousin, another family member, your brother, whoever, a friend of yours. You can get the equipment and you can probably feed 5 people. You can feed 10 people. You could do a whole bunch of stuff. So I just wanted y'all to know that that's one of the ways you get a bag in rural area. In a rural area, you just have to think, and you have to not be scared. You have to not be scared. One thing is you can't be scared. A lot of people have fear and they say, well, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. If you want to go out, and do whatever you want to do, you want to work at a warehouse all night, you want to do this or that, that's up to you. But if you want to get a bag, we're talking about getting a bag in a rural area, this is one of the ways to do it. So, I just wanted to leave that with you today. And give you something to think about. Like I said, this will probably be a 10-part series, and then we'll see how that goes, because there's never no limit on how to get a bag. There's a million ways to get a bag, in a rural area. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Unfortunately, I don't have the time today to go through all of it, but I just wanted to get this series started, and I'll let you know, how to get a bag in a rural area. This is Grind Time Media. I want you to like, I want you to subscribe, I want you to give me your feedback. I want you to share some ideas with me, so maybe we can go a little further and just, instead of doing 10 parts in this series, maybe we can do 20, maybe we can do 30, maybe we can do 50. Share your resources, leave some input, help me help you. And I definitely put the word out there and share it with my viewers and with my audience. And we can get this back together. This is Grind Time Media. Peace.